It's quite something to hear people arguing that certain public gatherings just have no substance at all. Just last night, I heard that specific phrase. Someone was saying some movements are just prayers cursing non-Muslims or pushing this idea that Islam is threatened, Malays are being subjugated. When you hear stuff like that, it really makes you wonder, what is the actual point of some demonstrations we see here in Malaysia? We've definitely had plenty of protests, right? Often about things like petrol prices going up or groceries costing more. Real issues. But what if the problem isn't just what they're saying, but that sometimes there's, well, almost nothing concrete being proposed? What do you think a really effective protest should be demanding?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, the prime minister, who's also the finance minister, he actually talked about this specific thing. He pointed out that many of these rallies, especially from the opposition like Perikatan Nasional, they often bring up worries about living costs, which is fair. But he observed they tend to lack, solid economic strategies or detailed ideas for reforming how the country works. There's just this absence of clear plans for the economy.
Yeah, that rings true. Vague concerns versus actual plans. And Anwar didn't just stop at the economy, right? He also touched on the whole corruption issue, which is always, well, complicated. How did he connect corruption to these gatherings?
He made this observation, quite a pointed one, actually. He noted that some opposition figures who show up at these events claiming they're fighting corruption might actually be protecting people involved in corruption.
Really? That's a strong claim. But he also stressed his own approach, didn't he, about the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission?
Exactly. He emphasized that he leaves corruption cases entirely to the MACC, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. He's been pretty clear. No false accusations from him, no revenge, just let the process run its course. That approach, letting the institutions do their job, definitely shapes how people see these anti-corruption claims at protests.
So it adds another layer. Are you genuinely fighting corruption? Or is it political posturing? And Anwar had that question too, didn't he? About the money.
Oh, yes. A very direct rhetorical question. He asked, essentially, if someone or maybe their kids suddenly declare assets worth billions of ringgit, billions, mind you, and they can't really explain where that money legitimately came from, why isn't that money being returned to the country?
Puts the spotlight right back on them.
It does. And he highlighted the puzzle in all this. How can opposition figures who you'd think would be leading the charge against corruption sometimes end up looking like they're defending the corrupt? It's like, you can't claim you want to put out the fire if you're standing next to the person holding the matches. That's the kind of disconnect he's pointing to.
Right. So looking bigger picture then, what does this imply for politics here? It seems to show a major weakness, doesn't it? If your main message is just the leader must go, but you don't have a clear, okay, then what? Doesn't that undermine your credibility? It's like saying fire the football coach. Okay, but what's your strategy to win the next game? Who's the replacement?
That's a really critical point. Protests absolutely have a role. They raise awareness, they show dissatisfaction, vital stuff. But to become a real political alternative, a credible one, an opposition in Malaysia needs more. It needs a clear vision, a comprehensive one. That means detailed policies. What's your specific plan for the economy, for lowering costs, for creating jobs? What are your proposed national reforms? Education, judiciary. And it's not just policies on paper. It's also about having a team, a group of people ready and able to actually implement those ideas.
So people can actually compare. Here's what the current government is doing, and here's a detailed, workable alternative from the opposition, side by side.
Exactly. It fosters a competition of ideas, not just personalities or slogans. And that competition ultimately should benefit everyone, all citizens, because it pushes for better governance based on substance.
Makes sense. So the takeaway really is that moving forward, any political group needs more than just protests. It needs those tangible, thought-out alternatives. The challenge for the opposition then is to build that substance, show they have a viable plan, prove they're more than just, rhetoric.
Absolutely. Which leads to a final thought, maybe for everyone listening to consider. Given everything we've talked about, the need for substance, for plans, for credibility, what kind of alternative leadership or opposition do you think Malaysia really needs right now? Is it enough to just object? Or do we need an opposition that lays out a full, actionable plan for the nation's future?